Hi, good morning, EDCI 568 fellows. In week 3, we start work on your project of partnering with pedagogy. And the first part of the project or your lesson plan you're going to work on is to identify or write up the driving questions as well as analyze the learners and the context and so forth. That's part A of your three-part project. So to help you understand better understand the relationship of driving questions, learners and context and so forth, I draw this diagram for you. And and hereby I would like to explain a little bit of what this means. First of all, before you write up your driving question or driving questions, think about what problem you want to solve, what problem you want to solve, and that could be a problem in your classroom, or it could be a problem in your current work that you want to address. And then from that problem, you will decide what do you want your learners to achieve. Okay, you ask that question, what do you want your learners to achieve? And that's your overarching learning goals. Okay, decide your overarching learning outcomes or learning outcomes depends on how many questions you're gonna write. So essentially, the driving question has to relate to your learning outcomes, and it must address the problem. Okay, and then in your driving question, you also need to address who are your learners, and what kind of learning environment your learners are in. And that's just part one. But moving forward, in your part two and part three, you're going to decide what pedagogies you're going to partner with. In the last 2 weeks, you have studied a number of pedagogies like problem-based learning, project-based learning, learn by teaching, learn by doing, and so forth. So which or how many pedagogies are appropriate to address this problem? And what kind of technologies appropriate to use to address that problem? Should you use a web-based learning? Should you use a mobile learning or maybe a game? Or a wiki. So whatever the technology you'll be choosing has to align with your pedagogy and has to align with your driving question. Okay. When you write on your pedagogies, and those has to align with the individual measurable outcomes. For example, the overarching learning outcome is how can I put together a retirement plan for myself. Okay, if you say that's its overarching learning outcome, the individual measure you will have to have a list of individual measurable outcome. For example, um, step one would be I need to have a basic analysis of my current financial situation, right? And the step two, maybe look at what are my financial vehicles are. And number three, and to determine if I should adjust my 401k plan or 403b plan and so forth. Okay, hope this makes sense. If you have any further questions, feel free to email me or give me a call.